society,
the voice of everyone.
this is DZRM 27.9 Real News Patrol. Good morning, Philippines.
Good morning, Taguig City.
Live at the DZRM 27.9 Real News Patrol studio. It's 46 minutes after 6 a.m. in the morning. I am Jessamay Gavilio.
And I am Jereben Macalos
For DZRM 27.9 Real News Patrol. And now for the headlines. Cues for verbal communication revealed.
Example of cues for verbal communication confirmed.
Cues for nonverbal communication explained.
Example for nonverbal communication acted.
Cues for the verbal communication revealed. For further information, here's Neil Ellison Flores. Neil.
Cues for verbal communication revealed by the students. Based on the study, cues for verbal communication is a prompt that is conveyed in spoken language from one person to another or a group of people. It is also words that tells what to do. Again, this is Neil Flores reporting for DZRM 27.9 Real News Patrol.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Example of cues for verbal communication confirmed. For more info, here's Miss Marjorie Rivera.
Example for cues for verbal communication is confirmed by a student. Based on it, there's a lot of some examples for cues for verbal communication, such as emphasize cues, organizational cues, and mannerism cues. Now, let's interview some students. Hi ma'am, good afternoon. Can I ask you some question?
Yes, of course.
Can I ask you what's your name first?
My name is Mary Joy.
Are you senior high school student?
Yes.
For you, what is emphasis cues?
Emphasis cues. Emphasis cues are those which are given to focus intention on important information. There are many examples of emphasis cues like you need to know, let me explain, listen carefully, let me emphasize, and this is important.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day.
Welcome.
Now, let's find another student for organizational cues. Hi, good afternoon, sir. Can I ask you some question?
Sure.
By the way, can I call you?
Denmark?
Okay, Denmark. Are you senior high school student?
Yes.
Okay. So, this is your question. For you, what is organizational cues?
Organizational cues which are given to help the listener to understand the sequence, order, or the relationship information in the lecture.
So, Denmark, can you give some example for organizational cues?
Yes. Some example of organizational cues today are we discussing. Main headline to be discussed are to summarize, to go back over, and we'll make to several points.
Okay, thank you then. And last is the mannerism cue. The mannerism cues are used by a specific teacher, something like a habit, and indicates something to be noted is coming up. Examples of mannerism cues are repeats words or phrases to emphasize, speak more slowly or loudly, stresses certain words, use different tone, and spell out important words. And that's all. Thank you. Again, this is Marjorie Luares Rivera reporting DZRM 27.9 Real News Patrol.
Thank you, Ms. Rivera. Cues for nonverbal communication explained. For further information, here's Dina Kadtog. Miss Dina.
Cues for nonverbal communication based on Patty Wood. Nonverbal cues include all the communication between people that do not have a direct verbal translation. It is the true visual, auditory, tactile, and kinesthetic channels. Again, this is Dina reporting for DZRM 27.9 Real News Patrol.
Thank you, Miss Dina, for the information. Next is example of nonverbal cue acted. For further information, here's Mr. Lyndon Camposano.
There are examples of cues for nonverbal communication like body language. Body language is a type of nonverbal communication in which physical behaviors are used to express or convey information. Body language must not be confused with sign language, as sign language are full of language like spoken language and have their own complex grammar. Next is gestures. Gestures may be made with hands, heads, arms, or body, and also include the movement of head, face, and eyes. The third is posture. It is the nonverbal cue associated with positioning, and that these two are used as sources of information about individuals' characteristics, attitudes, and feelings about themselves or others. Fourth is paralanguage. It is the various acoustic properties of speech such as tone, pitch, accent, collectively known as prosody, can give all of nonverbal cues. Paralanguage may change the meaning of words. Prosody may reflect various features of the speaker or the utterance. Lastly, the facial expressions. Based on Charles Darwin's book, the expression of emotion in man's or animal abuse in all mammals show emotion reliably in their faces. Now, here's Mr. Sale to interview some students to give an example of these five.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Christine.
Can you give me an example of body language?
Sure, just like this. But it means that the oldie should eat.
How about paralanguage?
Paralanguage, having an accent, just like using British accent. For example, I would like to say that having this interview was quite interesting.
So, lastly, how about the facial expression?
Facial expression, having a confusion, just like this. That's all.
Thank you, Christine Baldoza, and back to you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Camposano and Mr. Sale. Now, our online reporting will end. Again, this is Jessamay Gravillo
And Jamrebe Macalos.
for DZRM 27.9 Real News Patrol.